I'll cut a rug now. The light is going to be messed up, so turn around the other way. Go that way. You'll be here.
Yeah, like. Yeah, you better off moving that. You better off moving that. Yeah. There we go. That's better.
Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. All right, PK, we're ready. The tech issues are resolved.
Wi-Fi too weak.
are you?
Let's go.
Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. We're good.
Testing 1 2 3.
I need my phone, so you can take it on yours. You want me to hop into it? Okay. You want me to jump into it? Okay. I'll wait. Whoop. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out. Everybody who's staying, thank you so much for staying for this Can We Talk live podcast conversation. The licking, can we get the audio down on the TVs with the music for the podcast? Is that okay?
Can we get the audio on the TVs now?
So what is that? Okay. Look, we live. That's what it is. We just roll with it. Okay. So what I wanted to do, Hilo News is short for Hyperlocal News. Excuse me over here.
We're going to keep it down a little bit. If we can keep it down a little bit, we're doing a live podcast. If y'all want to have a conversation, you can go outside. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So what I wanted to do with Hilo News is have a platform for Black and Brown millennials here in South Florida. Stands for Hyperlocal. And I founded it in 2015, and we've been rocking, and Papa Keith has been a supporter from the very beginning. So of course, when he launched his campaign, I'm like, yo, we gotta do this live. I gotta interview you. And he was like, can you do it at my fundraiser? So I'm like, okay, let's talk to Sharif. Let's figure that out. You know, shout out to Stefan who came in to help us out with production. And I see my Hilo News team here, Alexis, Tamila, hey, Clayton back there. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. We are live. You could go to Hilo News, HYLONEWS, subscribe, follow us. We're on all the platforms, and you could share the live stream. That helps us out with that view. So yeah, we're gonna jump right into the conversation. Papa Keith actually took a questions that I wanted to ask you. And before we get into that, I wanna know, what is your vision for Miramar if elected?
Well, Miramar is already a progressive city. You know, I must say that, you know, so in terms of and things don't make this. Some people who built Miramar on the east side, are we just going to forget about them? What are we going to do on the east side to make them and not everything just be? It's really important to me.
No, and that's a perfect segue into my next question, because, you know, historically, if you travel, you know, east to west in Miramar, it doesn't look like a consistent city. And it looks like the east side has some of the, you know, historic issues that a lot of low income areas have. But when you look on the west side, you see more development, you see more economic booms, different sizes houses. As commissioner, what would be your plan to make sure that those houses in the historic part of East Miramar are not neglected? Have you thought about like programs for beautification, loans for homeowners to beautify their house? Like, what is your...
That's happening in the public, and we can actually add dollars to those fundings from the state and the county to help them reach the numbers that they need to reach to make the real repairs. You know what I mean? So even if it's the situation where 40, where it's not just one of us taking the whole bulk of it, you know what I mean? So for Miramar to split the cost with the county, it's a win-win.
No, definitely, and stacking that funding for residents would be a game changer, because I don't know if Miramar has a beautification program, but that will be very helpful for homeowners with older homes. Yeah, and so another hot button issue that's been around the news and the community is, you know, education and schoolment. And as a commissioner, you can have an impact on that the enrollment in these schools. Have you thought about what that could look like if elected? How you could work with the schools in Miramar? From some of my research, I think two low enrollment schools are in the city of Miramar. So what are some things that you have thought about in this process of making sure that the schools all around the city of Miramar have high enrollment, have programs? There's things as a commissioner that you could do. Have you thought through that? And if so, what would that look like for you?
Schools are schools, right? The community uses the schools to be able to bring their kids to get educated with pretty much the basic education. It needs to go further with the programming, which is one of the things I'm running on, creating programming for the youth. If kids are with their face in their phones, if kids are getting into drugs at a young age, school's not gonna work for them, you know? And I'm hearing more and more, listen, ADHD wasn't a thing when I was young. I was just hyperactive. You know what I'm saying? Now they got all these acronyms and stuff for what's happening to our youth right now. But it's because of the foods, the diets, you know, and there's so many different factors to why these kids can't focus and study. So it's not so much the schools. You'd find more failing schools in lower income areas because of the foods they're eating, because of the lack of programming. So those are the things I need to tackle first, and then the schools will work themselves up.
Definitely. You know? And have you thought about working with maybe the school board or Department of Education, any things in that regard of like that you could do as a commissioner?
I'm glad you said that. I'm actually going to Miramar High tomorrow and speaking to the SGA and recruiting the SGA president in Miramar, and I've already recruited a student in Everglades to work on my campaign. You have to get these kids involved in what you're doing. You have to allow them to be I'm gonna have that filled, but, you know, but definitely connecting with our youth and being able to, you know, give them, act like what we did with the People Manifest. All of the county resource families